The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good. Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. I posted a chart of yesterday's action for several reasons. You can see the 382 retracement that we talked about. The market broke from that level, and it went straight down to that time frame that we were on the air here. I said after 10:30, I said if we go much lower than where we are right now, that it's going to be, because I'll show you the reason in just a second, it's going to be very, very nasty. And in fact, it did what it was supposed to do. Let me show you why. It's posted in that letter right there that we were setting right at the first standard deviation, as you'll see right here. There was our low at 42.15. The standard deviation came in at 42.15. The low was 42.13, I believe. Then we rallied up all the way to the mean of the day. Now, let me try to walk through what I see when I'm looking at these things, because I'm only looking at patterns. I'm not looking, at anything, even related to anything like, moving average or anything like that. But we did have some really nice patterns that were going on here yesterday that I think were pretty important. Here's what I was looking at that time. Now, this was after the show, but you can see the show ends at 12 o'clock, and at 12:30, the bottom was made there at that one standard deviation. Then we had, that was a head forming. You don't know that's a head forming until, 2 hours later, but look, you come down and you make an absolute perfect head and shoulders pattern, and there you were. Then you go up and you make an ABCD pattern. Folks, just for purposes of your learning, just go look at the NASDAQ and see what happened there. It made an absolute perfect ABCD. This one missed it by a little bit, but it was just absolutely perfect. And now we've had, another move down. We came all the way down to almost a 78% retracement. The reason why I'm saying this, if we go below 42.13 today, folks, there is going to be a crash. Because when we have one standard deviation like we had yesterday, and then when we have a perfect ABCD like we had yesterday, I mean, my goodness, that's something that you don't see this very often. That's a very, very important distinction of what's going on in the markets. So that's why it's so very, 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 very important. And at the same time, let's get back here. We've got to do a couple of things. There's so many things going on at once here today that we've got to try to, put them in perspective to show which ones we're looking at and which ones we're not. Let's move over to the gold market here for a minute. We had a sell signal in gold, as you'll know, those of you that belong to the 24/7 group. We had a sell signal up there at 1853. We hit 1852. We hit at 1853 and a quarter. The market is broken down now to, I think it's 1846 trading right now. So what we did was we lowered our stop down to $2 on this. So we're only risking $2 with our stop at 1854. That's why we're keeping it as near as we can to a very, very low risk trade. That's what we're trying to look at. Now, several people have asked to show what the AI was showing for today. I'm not going to do this very often, folks, but when you request it, I will. But, because it's a very, very unique thing. But you'll notice here, this is where we were this morning. Hold on, just get this puppy up. The key place to look at now is at 12:30, folks. If we're making new lows at that time, it won't be as near as bearish as if we're making new highs, because this thing can invert. Now, the fact that we have had a really good rally, we rallied from 42.77 all the way up to 42.30 something or 42.40, whatever it is, and now we're starting to move back and forth. So that's all we're watching now is that key time, which will be again half hour after the show is over. By the way, today our guest will be Tim Bost, Financial Cycles Weekly out of Bradenton, Florida. Always a great guest to great guest to have on. So that's the main thing that we're paying very, very close attention to here as we go through these markets. But believe me, folks, when you see volatility like we're seeing right now in the S&P, you must respect that. There's no, there's nothing you can, you just have to respect it. It's very, very important that we remember that, because these things, we haven't seen anything, really, really dramatic to the downside since February when we had the COVID. And now we've got, the Russian troops, which I think are, they're in Belarus, folks. That's a country away from where they should be. But whether it's what do we call a joke or not, I'm not sure. But the main thing is to watch that low at 42.15. If we take that out, don't try to pick a bottom, because there's going to be a vacuum in there if it in fact happens. And frankly, it's a coin toss right here. It literally is a coin toss of whether you think you're going to see it or not. And that's pretty much the bottom line. And, we're watching it closely. That's all I can tell you, to keep the losses as small as you can. We're trading at 43.10 now. We go below those lows. The good thing is, if it goes below the lows at 12.30, you've got to watch that, because if they start going down lower than that right away, get out of town, because this puppy is headed downtown. If you remember, we've been sending out these 382 retracement things every day to the folks. And, some of these are just absolutely phenomenal. Look, we've got gold making a brand new monthly high, right? And look at silver, folks. Just let me give you a 10-4 on silver. Look at silver. We went down to the 382 yesterday at 24.05, right? Well, you'd think old silver would be riding along with the Lone Ranger on this one. And Bubba, he ain't doing that. So let's take a look at what silver's doing right now. You'll see what happened. Silver has a nice little pop here as gold's making its high at 1853. And look at this. Silver makes a high at 2,400 and immediately drops 40 cents. That's not bullish action, folks. And so the people that are running for the hills might be running for the wrong hills. I don't know. All I know is, folks, we're seeing volatility that we haven't seen in a long time. It's going to stay this way for a very, very long time. So make sure you keep your chips to the vest, because you don't want to risk very much on any of these things. I hope that helps. Best I can do to tell you whether that's what I'm seeing. But, that's what I'm seeing. I can only tell you what I see. That's for sure. Okay, now let's move over here to the dollar index. This is really important, folks. Now, the dollar index has broken. This was our quick 30-point loss in the euro today. Look at the euro. This is the dollar index. There is an absolute perfect 135 pattern yesterday, and as soon as we got above 96.10 or something, that told you that was breaking. And that's the same thing that was happening with the euro, only in reverse, because the euro is 53% of the dollar index. So if we look at the euro, in which I've got it here somewhere, you'll see this is the one we tried before. And you'll see I tried it again. There was the buy there at 1300, and the stop was at 112.85 for a loss of $150 today. And now we went all the way down. We're below 126 substantially. We bounced a little bit, but the euro's got a shot at possibly 109, folks. That'll be covered in the weekly letter. 877-927-6648. Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks. We'll be talking about the German DAX right now. As you can see, I posted a chart for that. It's also had a big drop. There's volatility across all these markets because everybody's nervous. A lot of things going on in the world. You can just spin the roulette wheel and pick the one you want. What we're here looking for is we're looking for one little spin on the wheel, which is called AB equals CD. That's what leads us to the promised land. Remember, folks, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, and that's what we try to be here, is to just look at ABCD to lead us to the promised land. You can see the ABCD here on the FTSE. We had a nice little break. We got an ABCD going back to the upside. And now if we take a look at the old German DAX, much, much weaker. And you'll see here that we've had a big move down. We did extend the ABCD leg by 1.618. We're bouncing a little bit here today. This, I can say, is probably one of the most important days that we've had since the top was made back on January the 7th. The reason for that, folks, is we went down to 1 standard deviation yesterday. This is so important. I know those of you that haven't purchased, and I'm not trying to give you a sales thing on it, but those of you that have not purchased the Floor Traders Handbook, I want to explain to you what this is. This means, folks, that when the market goes down to that level at 1 standard deviation, the option sellers are forced to start to cover their positions if it goes below that. If it doesn't, that's like the line in the sand, and that's why it stopped exactly where it is. And if you think I'm kidding, go look at the NASDAQ and then go look at the Dow Jones E-mini, and they did exactly the same thing. The Russell did not. Why, I don't know, but the others did just perfectly. We rallied right up to the mean, which was the high that we made last night up there at 44.03. From 44.03, we went all the way back to 42.77, and now we're bouncing around. This is why the key day today is if we get below 42.15 or 42.20, then that's going to be very, very dangerous. And one other thing that you should keep in mind is we should have a rally here based on the AI after 12:30. If that rally doesn't happen, and we go down and we don't close below 42.18 or anything like that, then that's something. Below 42.18 or 42.13 in that S&P, you won't even have to ask the question where it's going because the market will tell you. We haven't seen vacuums yet where there's 5 and 10 points between trades in the E-mini S&P, and that could be coming with volatility doing what it's doing. It's very important that we remember that. I'm giving you the best I can see from these charts, just looking at the way they're jumping around. That's basically all I'm looking at here. So we need to pay, super close attention to them, because given the fact that all of these things are bouncing off of major numbers like gold and now the ES and even the bonds got up to 156 again on there's another flight to quality. that's like putting kerosene on a fire to try to put it out. That's it. Let me give you an example here of what we were looking at last night here in the bonds. I'll just give you a share because I'll post you some of these charts that we had. But look at this beautiful. We had a beautiful trade there in the Treasury bonds last night at 155.22, went all the way down almost $1,000, made our profit objective, and then went all the way back to that 156 level. So when it breaks through that and then goes back above it, boy, that is you should see the statistics on that puppy, which I'm going to share with you the next time we do a day trading session. So let me, someone be so kind enough to give me the last price of the S&P 500, please, the E-mini. I'd like to know if it's trading below 43.10 or not. That's all I want to see. If it gets below that level, that's my first alert time to pay attention to it. It's 43.24, so it's holding up okay. That's a good sign for the bulls. Not much of a sign, but it's a good sign. Every little bit helps. So that was very important that it held that last little support level that it came down to. Okay, now as we look through this thing right now, right, here we are at the moment of truth in the GOLD, folks, at 1849. If it can pop above 1850, we've got to stop now at just $2 on the risk that we put on at 1852. We went all the way down to 1840, but that's not our profit objective. Our profit objective was a lot greater than that. But what we did was we lowered our stop down to 1854. So if we get stopped out, that's what we want to do. We have to get out of the market, and that's the key to what we're watching here in the gold right now. And I think it's making just about a 61% of the whole range, but that's neither here nor there. But we still get a little rally going in stocks. It held that 43.10, and so it's got a pretty good chance. The key today, folks, is the closed. Any close below that 42.90 level in that S&P, you don't want to have anything to do with it on the downside or on the upside, because it's going to have a lot of problems. Just looking at what we're looking at here today. So that's my assumption of what we're paying attention to. So we'll keep a very, very, very close eye on that one for sure. Okay, now let's move on here. In fact, this is not what you wanted to see. If that's about the same thing, yeah. It went right down to 4,300, right on the magic number there in the S&P 4302. As long as we can stay above 4302 for the rest of the day and don't close below 4302, the market still has a chance to rally. But if it goes below 4302 and doesn't close below that level, in other words, the close below is below 4,300 on the close today, be very, very careful, because once you take out a standard deviation, we've seen this all the way down in these markets and also all the way up. So that's a major thing to pay very, very close attention to. A lot of volatility here. These are people that are just in there strategizing to see either the bulls or the bears are going to win this game. Right now, the bears have a slight edge, maybe, one touchdown lead with 4.5 minutes to go, and you've got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. I wouldn't take the odds on that one. But remind yourself, 42.80, below 42.80 on a close today, that's 50 handles from where we are right now, would not be a very good sign from my perspective. And any close above, 1855 in the gold, oh my goodness, this thing could go, but it's not taking silver with it. So I would have to be looking at, what's the poor man's gold, which is silver is doing, and it's just not acting very well. That's what we're looking at here. So that's neither here nor there, but that's what the game plan has to be. Now, stay tuned. We're going to have Tim Boss as our guest here in a half an hour, and he's going to be talking to us about some of the astro things that he's looking at. But I want to bring a heads up what we're going to talk about here after Tim is finished. And hold on one second. We'll get this up here so we can see it. Hope we'll have time. I know we will. Some questions have come up. How do you know whether this top that the Prechter people are talking about, the Elliott Wave people are talking there, is the real top? You don't know that, folks. But below 4210 in the S&P, you will know that is the stop. So pay attention. I mean, that will be the top. If we go below 4210, that will be the top for this cycle. How much of a cycle it's going to be? Who knows? We don't need to know what that's going to be. So let's remind ourselves of that. Stay tuned for Tim Boss, folks. 877-927-6648.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly. And Tim, we have a question from one of our listeners.
All righty.
And that question is there anything in the sky that is making this volatility increase? I mean, we've got a volatility index all the way up to 35. Is there anything astrological that would cause these to do this? I mean, you've been talking about increased volatility for a long time, but I was wondering,
absolutely. We've got all kinds of great stuff going on here.
Go right ahead. You're in charge now. Go right ahead.
First of all, we had Mars change signs into Capricorn yesterday, so that's given a little bit of a spike. But the main thing we've been focusing on here is this Uranus direct station that occurred about a week ago on January 18th. Our expectation was it would be slightly bullish. We got exactly the opposite reaction instead, with a big move to the downside, obviously increased volatility, lots of action going on, and did a little bit of a look at this whole situation. We had several factors working with this. Mercury was retrograde. We also had kind of weak signals in terms of the bullishness. We'd overestimated that a bit. We also had a Mars-Uranus 135-degree angle. We call it a sesquiquadrant in astrological lingo, but it's a very, very active kind of dynamic, as well as some additional midpoint activations. All of those have added to the volatility picture, but the main thing we're concerned about is the Mercury retrograde period, which is still very much in progress. Right before we got this big downturn in the markets, Mercury had made its retrograde station on the 14th of January. That was the Friday right before the holiday weekend, and trading resumed on the 18th with a vengeance to the downside. Now, when we have Mercury retrograde like this, it's going to stay in effect until the 3rd of February. So we've got a couple more weeks of this to deal with here. But it impacts markets across the board in slightly different ways. And mainly it impacts the emotions and the thought processes, the decision-making faculties of traders. And so you make lousy choices, and when you fall into fear and panic and greed and all those emotional extremes, the markets go wild. It increases the volatility. But perhaps most importantly, when we have these Mercury retrograde periods, as we do right now, we get cycle inversions. So we do our analysis, and anybody who's worked with cycles before finds this mysterious thing that happens every once in a while. We expect something to go up and it goes down, and it's an inversion of the cycle. One of the things that contributes to that, we won't say it's the only cause, but it is certainly a contributing factor, is when we have Mercury retrograde, and that's exactly what's happened this time, all of which adds up to major volatility and has created this whole plunge dynamic in the markets. So that's what's been going on.
Tim, I have a question. I have a question, and that is, I heard a rumor that, I knew Reagan was involved with astrology because I was in California during the time he was governor, and then also when he was president. But the question that I had is that they always talked about that he had a personal astrologer, and of course his wife Nancy was really big into that. And do you know anything about that? Because I mean, there's probably all kinds of things that are out there that are scattered around.
Absolutely.
Why don't you tell us what you know?
Yeah, the astrologer was involved was a lovely woman named Joan Quigley. She has passed on now, but Joan was a very adept astrologer, and she had consulted, or Nancy had consulted with her on occasion. So basically, Nancy was the go-between, and Reagan was very interested in it himself. But as far as I know, he never directly consulted with Joan. It was always give the questions to Nancy. I had some contact with Joan prior to her death. I never met her face to face, but we talked on the phone a number of times, and we were looking at international affairs. She, after the Reagan administration, was working for some other government. She never told me which one, but looking at affairs in the Middle East, and we were studying various things like missile tests and the charts of all kinds of interesting geopolitical dynamics together. So she was quite knowledgeable and a very appropriate astrologer to get involved with the White House.
Wow, well, that's close enough. That's pretty good. Now, who was Jean Dixon? That was another name that.
Yeah, Jean Dixon was more of a psychic than an astrologer. I think she may have done some astrological work, but she came to fame in the mid to late 1960s, claiming to have correctly forecast the assassination of John Kennedy in 63.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that was kind of a different story there, a different era.
All right, good. That's it. Okay, continue, my friend.
Well, the history is always interesting to delve into, so I appreciate those questions.
Well, people have asked that question. I'm trying to get it answered. I can't remember because I didn't, I didn't get involved with this stuff till '86, and so, a lot of it that time had already passed. So why don't you continue? Right. But that Mercury retrograde is a big deal. I understand that Reagan wouldn't sign any papers of major significance during Mercury retrograde. I've seen that in the news many times.
Right. And again, that was Nancy funneling Joan Quigley's advice to him, and that became a real critical thing. She would say, Ronnie, don't do this today, or whatever. Okay. And so it was interesting triangular relationship. And Don Regan, I believe, was the chief of staff at the time, and he was very aghast at the whole thing. He said, we got to keep this secret. Nobody should know this kind of crap is going on. So, interesting stuff. And in fact, there's a book, Joan Quigley wrote a memoir called What Does Joan Say? It's long out of print, but you might be able to pick up a used copy of that somewhere. Interesting reading. Anyway, we have looked at this whole dynamic that created the market plunge. Did a program on that, and the recording is available at this link that we have here. If you want to dig more deeply into that, what we're mainly concerned about, however, is what's going on right now, and we're looking at this Mars-Uranus dynamic impacting the S&P. I kind of have been looking at this Uranus because of the Uranus station, and what I had discovered, of course, was that the same day we had the Uranus station a week ago, we also had a 135-degree lineup between Mars and Uranus. So we put this on a chart here, and the red diagonal lines there are Mars, the more horizontal ones are Uranus, and on the 18th, we marked on the right side there, that first harmonic heavy red line was Mars support, and it broke through that support to the downside. That was a major accelerating factor to all the selling pressure that kicked in. And then yesterday, we have our daily price bar there, the intraday low, and it looked like things couldn't possibly turn around at that point, hit support on that lower Mars line and began to bounce back. So this is a very, very active dynamic as we look at these relationships between Mars and Uranus.
I see it. Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing. We take out yesterday's lows. It's good night, Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's going to break through that heavy Mars support line. It'll be a significant bearish indicator there. So what we've been looking at here is an upcoming arrangement between Mars and Uranus. This is going to hit on the 8th of February, 2 weeks from today. We'll have a waning trine between the two. And our backtesting shows this kind of pattern that typically triggers some more bearish action after that. But what we're interested in is what happens between now and then. And I mark points A and B. That's still to come here, and so we've got a little bit of a trade setup that we think might be worth exploring with this. We'll talk about it after the break, okay?
Yeah, we got to pay a few bills, folks. 877-927-6648.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, folks, we're back with Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly out of Bradenton, Florida. Tim, would you like to continue, please?
Absolutely, absolutely. We were talking about the impact of the Uranus station on the markets and the ancillary ripple effect, so to speak. And what we have coming up is kind of an extension of that, hitting on the 8th of February, 2 weeks from today. And then on our backtesting chart here, that's that 0 point in the middle for February 8th. And what we're interested in is a potential trade centered around that astrological event. We've got point A on the left and point B on the right side there, suggesting a potential bullish trade. And so what we've done is tested that, and we believe this could be a good opportunity for those interested in a reasonably low-risk swing trade. The strategy here would be to buy a week from today, on Tuesday, the 1st of February, buy the S&P or any version of that you like, whether you're trading E-minis or what have you, and then sell the position on February 11th. So it's about 10 calendar days that you hold the position. Based on our back testing here, this has a 77.3% probability of succeeding, or at least returning some kind of positive return. And the average has been in the past, the ROI has been about 1.6% on that. So it might be worth looking at if that's your cup of tea there. So what we try to do is look at these situations that create mayhem in the markets and see if there are any opportunities hidden in the weeds there. So this is what we've discovered so far.
Got a question.
Sure.
February 1st happens to be the Chinese New Year, and it's also, for all the TFNN listeners, it's the year of the tiger. So
Absolutely.
does that have any playing into this astro signal or not? Because we like new moons and full moons here.
Absolutely, and that new moon emphasis with the Chinese New Year, I think, adds some extra pizzazz to this potential. However, our back testing was strictly with the Mars-Uranus configuration, so we would kind of layer that. And our approach here is to find these longer-term planetary cycles and look at the correlations with them. If they give us a positive signal, then we go in and test the shorter term actions, and certainly every new moon, full moon is significant. And then on top of that, with the Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year being triggered as well, it adds some extra strength. And there are other factors happening around that time as well, which could give us an overall bullish outlook for the market during that 10-day period at least. So we're watching that very closely, but this particular analysis is based just on that one factor.
Well, the other ones you've given us have been pretty good. I think we only missed 2 out of 10 of the last ones we've been watching. So that's certainly a strong one.
We're trying to keep up there. If we can do 80%, that'll keep us pay the rent, right?
That'll keep you in that'll keep you in bread and water. That's for sure.
So, all right, get my pencils and my tin cup and sit out on the sidewalk, one way or another, right?
You can use mine. It's always in use.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to continue, my friend?
We can come up with something, my friend. All right. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. And so we've seen a lot of wild action going on here with Bitcoin, and certainly that decline. It's interesting. I've been monitoring some of the chatter in that whole community of Bitcoin speculators, and it's astonishing to see a pretty strong shift to a bearish sentiment there. These guys tend to be very, very optimistic. That was before the big rebound yesterday. It was kind of intriguing to see their perceptions on the market. At any rate, we continue to track these planetary price lines for Venus and Chronos here. Chronos are those horizontal purple lines. And then we've added to this chart a Gann fan based on that trading top back on the 25th of November. And we projected that out with Gann-style projections. And what we're seeing here is it begins to define some channels in terms of the decline, and we're kind of interested in that because lower right-hand corner, you're going to see an intersection of that Gann line with our support zone at 28,350. And we think that's very, very significant there. Would not be surprised to see a further move to the downside there. That would shake out a lot of people from on the speculative side of Bitcoin if we do get that low. But I think that's a very, very solid support zone. So that's what we're looking at. When we checked the price earlier today, it was at 36,400 and change. And so, that's approaching that now as a resistance level at 37,350. So we'll be watching that for the short term at least. Now, I personally am a very bullish long term with Bitcoin, and so wanted to share some of the strategies that we're looking at here and overall in addressing this market. Right now we're in a strong hold with a discretionary buy as long as the price stays between 32.8 and 41.8 there, and so that's the range we're in right now. If it drops below this support at 32,850, then we're going to take a much more aggressive position in terms of adding to our position, a long position there. We think that's a good bargain zone, so to speak. And then if it tops that 46,350, which is that heavy line there, sort of halfway through the chart, if it breaks back above that as a resistance zone, then we'll start to take some profits along the way.
Wow, very good. That's a good strategy. Okay, do you have any upcoming webinars coming up pretty soon?
We do indeed. We'll be presenting some more information later this week. I believe it's set for Thursday. If you'd like to connect with that, go to bit.ly/TimLarryP. That's all lowercase except for the names there, the capital T, capital L, capital P. That'll get you connected with our list, and we'll keep you posted of all of our upcoming events. We do a variety of things, including free webinars on a regular basis, and so if you'd like to connect with that, be happy to have you join us. And of course, that will also give you access to information as well, and you can contact me directly at tim@timbost.com if you have further questions or are interested in learning more about astro trading in general. We do share a lot of that information in our webinars about how to connect with our training programs and our individual mentoring and coaching programs for traders as well. So depending on where you are in the progression, we're happy to connect with you. There's no hard sell there. Our aim is to help you succeed in the markets.
And that free webinar comes with a money-back guarantee, I understand?
We double your money back. You get twice your poverty. How's that?
Hey, listen, thanks for joining us today, buddy, and we'll have you on again in a couple of weeks. We really enjoy it. You got some great information all the time, and you've certainly been correct on a lot of these moves. And so So
we'd
we
rather
appreciate it.
Make money than be right, but we try to be right too. So how's that?
Yeah, you got that. You got that for sure.
Have a great time.
You bet, buddy. Thanks for joining us. You bet. Yeah.
Right,
it's Tim Boss, folks, Financial Cycles Weekly, and he's always great. After we come back, I want to go over what the strategy should be for today because we are at such a critical level. We'll be back right after we take a few words from our sponsors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
All right, we're back, folks, and we're going to talk just a little bit more about what happened yesterday. I posted the chart for that standard deviation showing you the low at 82.15. Folks, this is a perfect example of how algorithmic traders work. They know what these numbers are. They follow standard deviations from the mean because this operates the futures markets the options market for these things, which is about 6 or 8 times bigger than the future, at least than the futures market. So that's why it's so important. If we go below one standard deviation, which is 82.18, You can call it what you want, but it will be a big correction to the downside. And whether it has the big C word or not, I'm not sure. But the main thing is be really careful below 42.15, because the trend changed, folks, when we went through the first standard deviation 2 days ago at 43.85. And what did we do? We went right up yesterday, just almost to it at 44.03. So this is all fitting together. That's why this is such an important day today and tomorrow. If we violate that figure to the downside, it's extremely bearish, and if we can hold it, we got a chance for a pretty good rally here in these things. But this is what we're focusing on, because these option traders use this market, and remember, it's at least six times bigger, and they can push these markets around. And I know the Fed is supposed to be in there, but believe me, what the Fed does has nothing to do with us, because it's a private bank for bankers. Always view them as your competition. They are not your friend. And so keep that in mind as we look at this. Now, tomorrow, I believe we have none other than Norman calls it to the minute Winsky, and I believe we have a new moon coming up here tomorrow, as I recall, because the full moon will come up on February the 1st, which will be the Chinese New Year, the year of the tiger, and we can hear Tommy growling about that. So keep every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless, and do something for your neighbors today, folks, because a lot of them have a lot of problems. So any questions that you might have had that you couldn't get through on the lines today, I'm sorry, but they were just so backed up that there was just no way that you can get through today. But maybe tomorrow will be your lucky day. Gong hei fat choi. See you tomorrow, folks.